The second assumption that I think Dr. Williamson makes that is probably false is that if God is all good, he would want to create a world without evil. I don't see any reason to think that's necessarily true. Now, certainly, God does want the best for us, but what is the best for us? We just sort of naturally assume that if God exists, then his purpose is to make us happy in this life. But on the Christian view, that's false. The purpose of life is not happiness as such, but rather to come to the personal knowledge of God. And many evils happen in life which may be utterly pointless with respect to producing human happiness, but they may not be pointless with respect to producing a deeper knowledge of God. It's possible that only in a world suffused with natural and moral evils that the maximum number of persons would freely come to know God and his salvation and so find eternal life. So the atheist would have to prove that there's another world that God could have made which has as much knowledge of God and his salvation as this world, but with less evils. And how could the atheist possibly prove such a thing? Again, it's pure speculation. There's no way to prove such things, and I think that's why the problem of evil has been largely dismissed by philosophers of religion today. So I see none of these three objections as potent reasons to believe in atheism. That leaves us then, again, with my 5 reasons to believe that God exists, which I'd like to just review again for you quickly. Number 1, there is the cosmological argument. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a transcendent cause beyond time and space. The teleological argument that the fine-tuning of the universe is due to either physical necessity, chance, or design. It isn't due to physical necessity or chance. Therefore, it's due to design. The moral argument, if God does not exist, objective moral values do not exist, but objective moral values do exist, and therefore it follows that God exists. And then the resurrection of Jesus, again, we saw the 3 facts that are recognized by the majority of historians today. Secondly, that the best explanation of these is the hypothesis that the disciples gave. That hypothesis entails that God exists, and therefore it follows that God exists. And finally, the last point is simply the immediate experience of God. I have experienced God through my relationship with Jesus Christ. I wasn't raised in a Christian home or even a church-going family, but as a teenager, my life was turned upside down when I came to know God through a conversion experience. And God is real to me in my experience. And in the absence of some defeater of that, in the absence of some reason to think that I'm deluded or deranged, I'm perfectly within my rights in believing in God on the basis of experience. And therefore, it seems to me we have sound reasons for believing that God exists.